And let's start. So lab 5. Today's agenda is more navigation queries, subqueries, and we're going to be building a KPI for today. Sounds good? Okay. So under the files, lab 5, I think there are 2 versions of the PowerPoints. So one version was with the answers, the other one wasn't. I'm not sure if you can access the answers right now, but for the lab, for this time being, I'll just be presenting with more examples and let you guys practice on it. Okay, so normally it's how it goes. So first I'll present an example or I'll present a syntax, and you guys will put in the keyboard work and then try and play with it. All right. So first thing is we're gonna talk more on the navigations for MDX. So last time we did find sales amount for France and Canada in all years. Do you guys still remember that? So this time we will find sales amount for states in France and Canada in all years. Right? So that's using the hierarchy of state is like the lower hierarchy of the country. And to give you sort of like a hint, I'll show you the answer from last time. Okay? So last time we have select non-empty ordered a year.members on columns, non-empty customer.geography.country.canada, customer.geography.country.United States on rows from cells where measures sales amount. So in here, the where you actually put the measure sales amount over here to show it is a navigation. That's sort of a difference between navigation to the general queries, I think. Right? And to explain more, the customer.geography.country.canada. So geography is a hierarchy. All right, so inside of geography, you have an ordered hierarchy, which goes, if it goes from bigger to smaller, then you have country, state, city, and a customer ID or whatever, right? So this, basically, you're just going to be changing the non-empty, this specific line. I'll give you 5 minutes to play with it. So all you have to do is to get the states of Canada and United States, other than the countries themselves. Okay? Let's do it. So the question again is find sales amount for states in France and Canada in all years. Okay, and the example query is here. All right, I should give you more time because most people are just beginning to start up the remote desktop. I'm just giving you more time. So the database name is called Team 007. That's where it should be querying from. Okay, and then the cube is called cells. Alright, so first just refresh your memories, try this query, and then play with it to get the states. Easy?
You did? I knew about it.
I just think using the methods that you just for querying and using the methods just for viewing and just for viewing is better. Yeah. The software is there.
So everything's really just drag and drop. So cool. Alright, so it's without the context itself. It's not showing countries, you know, the states acting from they're just in the bottom
Guys, just a little tweak to it. In here I said states, but in the hierarchy I deleted the states, so I'll just do city. All right, cities. No, I deleted the cities in hierarchy, which you're supposed to be using the hierarchy instead. So in that case, I'll just change the states to the cities, which is the direct lower hierarchy to country, and then you can use the same function as you used before. Not before, but as a keyword, I think children, right? Yeah. So it's just for practicing children. Because the direct lower hierarchy of country is city. I changed it. That's my bad. But just to get the lower hierarchy, you just have to add the children function to it. So you should be good. So the final answer should still be the same, even though you're not getting the states, you're getting the cities. All right, how many of you have finished this part? Or have
states.
Not states?
Yeah, states were states. Yeah.
States right?
Did you use the state province thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, so that works.
You can use state province.
Yeah.
So okay.
States work.
Okay. That's good. All right, how many of you have finished this part? Okay. All right, I'll just give you more time then, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, did you get query generation failed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually clear.
States.
Yeah. Oh.
It's team 00, team 007. It's under SSAS team 007. Yeah. So just right on here on team 007. So you should connect to the SSAS, not the SQL server. You go to File, Connect. Yeah. For the first one, choose right. So next, connection slash MSIC. And then the database is called team 007.
I mean, you can kind of figure out like where it has to give none, it has to give empties.
Right.
So it removes the empties. Like I had one that I forgot.
Right click on team 007. Yeah. Now you can try to query. Yeah. Okay. Right. So you should actually use this one. I changed the hierarchy of it.
Mario also
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you guys?
You're just going to use. I think it's the ball. Yes. File. Then open it. Something like that.
All right. I think it's good to review everything, sort of where we should be doing, what we should be opening. So let's first try last time's answer. In here, I have opened a SSAS. Think here, or no, not here. This one. SQL Server Analysis Services. Okay, thanks. So in here, I go into Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. And then I connect to the analysis services. Okay. The connection name is connection MSI SQL. And then in the database, because we have already built a cube from the second or third lab, we have a team 007, which is where our cube is. We say new query. So here we are. We're in the sales cube, and we can query whatever we want. And now, because I said last time's answer was this, I'll just copy and paste it over here. Okay, so it's Control V. All right, and then we execute it. So you can click the execute here, or you can just right-click on everything and say execute. That's the same thing. So now we can see Canada and United States for all years, right? So how do we get to the lower hierarchy? So there are multiple ways here, and because today I want you, like for this slide, I only want you to practice the children function. I'll just be adding them to Canada and United States. All right? Yeah.
How do you populate that SQL query again? You populate the template. How did you populate it?
Oh, populate it. I just copied it from the slide.
Oh, it doesn't show.
Yeah, I'm lazy not to do it over again. So here, after we execute the children, we should be able to see the next hierarchy, which is actually States. All right, which is actually the states. That's fine. That's fine. So as expected, this thing works. What's British Columbia? Is that a?
It's in Canada.
Oh, it's in Canada. Okay. Okay. All right. So there are many interesting named states. So hopefully by this time you should know how to use children. Yeah. It's probably because you're querying the wrong queue. You should do exactly what I did. All right. So any questions on this, on children, like what it means? Children, the children of United States are all the states, right? Yeah.
So if there was like another level below the city, would it give you the lowest level, or would you say the level below?
So
Just one more.
so it's just the one directly lower to the one you are given, like country, because our hierarchy here under customer geography, the one directly under country is state. All right, so so children gives you the direct one beneath it. Yeah.
Could you do children too?
I don't know. Let's try. I don't really know. Let me see. Yeah, so this doesn't seem to work. But if you want to get to a deeper level to drill down, we have other functions that I'm going to introduce you very in the next few slides. Cool. So now we have finished the first query. Everybody knows what they're doing, hopefully. All right, so it's just adding the children to the end of the countries. And now you have the children from the countries. Those are states. Okay? So let's try, so that's what children does. So if there's no questions, I'll go into the next one, which is descendants. Descendants is a very useful function to use, sort of. So I have showed you the syntax here. It's descendants element in the hierarchy and the hierarchy level. So the example here is the same thing as we did before, but instead of saying I want a children, I say I want a descendant of the state Illinois. All right, and the level of the descendant should be the city. So if I execute this query, what city do you expect to see? Yeah, so if I have data for the cities, then I should expect to see all cities in Illinois, right? But because we have a non-empty thing here, if we don't have the data, then it will not show up. So last time someone asked me, what if, so in the final result, what if I have some rows, I have one null and a non-null for the other value. And then he asked me if the null is going to appear. So the answer here is yes, it will appear. All right. So let's try this query first.
I have a question. So the descendant, that argument there is going to work on city.
Right.
So it's like it starts like A, B, C, D, E, like that. It's like alphabetical order.
That I am not really sure. It should be. Yeah. So here I'm just showing the syntax for descendants. And if you do descendants and elements and a level, it's going to give you all the levels under that element.
Oh.
Like in here, the element is a state. The level is a city. It's going to show all cities under that state. All right. So no problems at all. Let's try it. Should be pretty straightforward. Let's say let's see here. Select non-empty order date, year dot members, Illinois, descendants, blah blah blah.
You have to, there's an extra space after geography if you remove that space. The very.
Oh, you're right. Okay, thanks. Oh, okay. Is that what you're seeing? Okay, so this this actually answers the question on what if there's a null and there's a not null on the other row. So Carol Stream has a null 2012, but it has something in 2013. It shows up. Chicago has 2012 and 2013. I'm not sure where the other cities are. Probably those are not in our database. Okay, so so there are some formatting issues when I directly copy it from the PowerPoint to the to this thing. But is there any questions? Cool. So there are no questions. Let's try using the same thing for a different query. Using the function descendants, right? So get sales amount for the states in United States and Canada in all years. So again, this is the same thing as we This is the same thing as we did before, but now I want you guys to use descendants other than children.
Are they like analogous?
Analogous to.
Are like, I mean, are they like the same thing? Like, I still don't quite follow. Descendants.
So children is more like an expressway to get to the lower hierarchy. Descendants is more like the official way to do it. So it's like you can get drilled down to whatever level you want. So you can drill down to one level, you can drill down to more levels.
And children only goes to one level below.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the question is, what is the difference between children and descendants? So descendants can drill down into a lower dimension or lower hierarchy, while children can only do one hierarchy. Let's try it. Using descendants. 5 minutes.
Wait, what's the question?
The same question as before.
You guys just
So the syntax of descendant should have parentheses, right? You should do 2 descendants of both Canada and the United States.
It's like descendants parentheses and like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Comma. Yeah.
Okay, got it. You want to check it?
What's the syntax? Oh.
So here, the descendants something should have a second argument. That thing dot state. So again, the syntax is here, right? Descendants, parentheses, element in hierarchy, and element level. And then they're separated by a comma. And
So you have to get the hierarchy all over again. You just can't write the rotation.
what?
You have to write the hierarchy all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Oh, we've been playing
I changed the hierarchy also.
I'll take a look. I'll take a look. Don't worry. So, all right. So I think it's good for us to see the answer. So before, what we have are customer.geography.country.United States and then customer.geography.country.Canada, right? So now all what I did was instead of having the two countries, I want to get the states. So the most intuitive way to do it is just to tell the MDX I want the states from United States and I want the states from Canada and combine them together to put them onto the rows. So that's one way. There is another way, which is combining the countries first and then say for those two countries I want to get the state out of it. So that can be done in one row of descendants. So both ways work. All right? What? The last slide.
What did you just say?
Okay, so this way we are combining the final results of descendants. There is another way, which is to combine the countries first and then do the descendants on the combined countries.
So can you do all there?
So those two are all valid. Yeah.
I have a silly question. So why do you need the element at this point? It's like the customer geography and dot state after United States. It's like if you want to just get an aggregate number for the whole country, why do you have to do the state level thing, like break it out into states? Oh, for the states, sorry. Here's your question. Okay. No, I have no question. So if you want to do aggregate, if you want to aggregate only on country level, so you just take the customer geography and stay out. Okay.
Yeah. So in here, the difference between using the geography state hierarchy than using the whole states are because we only want the United States and Canada states. We don't want the other country states. That's right. All right. So any questions on this? Descendants function? No. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at an optional flag for descendants. I know this is getting more confusing, but just for you, all you have to remember is you can have an optional flag, and when you need to use it, you can just check the document on what those are. For completeness, I listed everything here. So those flags are what you can replace the optional flag over there on the syntax. All right. So before we had descendants, some element, and a level, but now we can actually add a third argument to that function. So think of it as a regular Python function or whatever. So it can have three arguments, and the last arguments can be one of those. All right. So the default is self. If using this example, then the self means city level. So we're only going to, if you put the self on there, we're only going to get the results from the city level. Before means upper level. All right. So before means upper level. If you have the city as a level and then you put before, you're going to get country and state level. So for example, if you do Illinois city, then you put before, you should be able to see what? US. Canada?
Oh, so you're just Illinois. Sorry, I didn't know that.
All right.
So it means one upper level, right?
So before means country and state level. So country and state. So you should have Illinois and United States.
Yeah. So just one level, right? Not going up to continent level or all.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you get to all levels up or just one level?
You get all levels up. For before. Okay. Right? Yeah. For before you get all levels up. So the upper level of city is state, right? So the upper level of state is country. So you get all levels up.
The one level up, I'm asking if there is something like continent as well. Does it go to the highest level? Because you said before, so it takes all before.
That I think so. We can play with it and see what it does. I think it goes to the all level, not continent level, because I didn't specify the continent level.
Yeah, in this we do not have, but I'm asking for a general question.
It should
It should go
to all the upper levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever is before, it should take that.
That's right. So the self and before includes city, country, and state. So self includes itself. Okay. So after means customer level, which is the lower level, right? The lowest level of lower level to the city. So all we have is customer key, right? That's the lowest level. Self and after, so all of those. I'm tired of explaining, so just look at it, and then you should be fine, right? Is there anything you don't understand? I think you understand everything, right? So those are examples of what they should include.
Can you tell how do you combine two states, suppose Illinois and if I want to have California there, so how do you do together in the descendants
We can
first
literally do
argument?
like two things.
You just combine two things.
Just drop it in code
Yeah.
base.
Wrap them in curly braces. All right, so this is how the optional flag works. Maybe we should try one. Let me see. Which one do you guys wanna try with? Let's say. Okay, so here I have an example on Illinois. Which of the optional flag do you want to try?
Before, after.
Before and after? Okay, let's see. Before and after. All right, let's execute it. So that shows all the Illinois and all the customer IDs. So those 1A315, those are this level, and the Illinois is this level. Before and after. Also, before and after only goes one up. Let me see before. I think it should include all the levels. Huh. So before only goes up to one level. That's not as I expected.
Oh, so it's supposed to break it up by city, but it takes up to one level, so it goes back to Illinois.
Yeah. Interesting. Did I do something wrong? Okay, let's try self and before.
Yeah, that's another question. So say if you have to break a state and then Illinois, you specify Illinois, why don't you just put another dot and put city there and then it will just break to the city? You have to comma it and put it into a separate section as elements.
Wait, what do you mean?
Say for the same kind of, is it because of the syntax rules that you have to put a comma in between Illinois and the cities, which is the element, or you could just put a comma right after Illinois and then say city, and then we'll break into cities.
Okay. I guess that's fine too. I think that's fine too.
Oh.
There are like optional ways. There are many optional ways. I'm just showing you. I'm just showing you one way to do it. It's yeah. All right. Somehow I feel like the flex explanation here somehow isn't always correct. I'll check back. Like I'll get back to what these actually are. Yeah. So the output only shows one level up or down, which is not what I expected. Before should do all of the levels. So I'll investigate on that and then see why it is the case. All right. All right. So let's go on to the function ascendants. All right. So ascendants is basically the same thing as descendants, except it doesn't take any other arguments. So it goes back to it goes up one level. So basically, you can think of it as the opposite of children. All right. So the syntax is ascendants some element, and that's it. Easy. So let's try ascendants. Find sales amount for all ascendants of val the OSC in all years. I'm not telling you what the val the OSC is. I'm not telling you if it's a state, if it's a city, or if it's just a bad named country. I'm not telling you. Whatever. So I want you guys to figure it out. Not by querying. Not by Googling. Not by Googling. Just try to use this thing here and then see if you can get to the shortcut. So it's simple, right? If you know what val the OS is, then you can just put ascendants something in there. But now you don't know what val the OS is. What should you put inside of the parentheses? This I'll give you 3 minutes. The answer is actually pretty simple. and then I'll show you again. So everybody knows what write down the val the os now, right? So I'll just show you again the syntax here.
Do we know it's like a geography?
What?
Do we know it's a geography?
Yeah, it's definitely inside of the geography hierarchy. So this is the syntax for ascendants. So all you have to do is think of a way to represent val the os.
When I found it,
All right. Yeah. Yeah, you are. That's fine. Yeah, of course. Okay. I think it's time to review the answer. So in here, I didn't tell you what this thing is, right? But the answer doesn't really care about what this thing is. It just says, and I'm the ascendants customer.geography dot val the os, and that's it. Easy, right? And now you should know what this thing is, because by looking at the ascendants, you should know what it belongs to, right? So where is it? No, I mean France. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's play with it. So execute. Yeah. So that's France. All right. So in here, the results tells us not only Ascendants displays the upper level, it also displays all the way to the biggest level, which is O. Right? So it's like it has all the levels up. Right? So it's Valdios, France, and O. Yeah.
Is there a way for you to figure out what level it is? You say you just know the name, but you don't know what level it is.
Is there a way to figure out what level this is? I don't know actually. I can just look at the results and say what this is, but yeah, I don't. I think you can only look at the results and say, all right, so this belongs to France, so it must be a state. Yeah. Okay. I think there are several more queries that we can practice on. So this one is called Ancestor, right? So the example here shows you. So this is different from Ascendants, right? So Ascendants is just you just input one thing in there, so it's something to the reverse of children. But to do it more officially, then Ancestor is a way to go. All right, Ancestor, an element and a level, right? So in here, the example shows you Chicago and state. So I want the ancestor of Chicago and then represent it in state. And to help you understand it more, I said this is ancestor one level and another level. But I think the best way for us to understand it is by practicing. So the practice here is find sales amount for all years for the state of city Berlin. Right? So I'll give you 3 minutes to play with this query. Find sales amount for all years for the state of city burning using Ancestor. So Ancestor is just a function you can play with. All right, I think this is a very easy query. I'll just show the answer here. So everything is the same except for the rows, I did an ancestor customer.geography.burning and customer.state. All right, so that's the exact translation from the practice problem to the MDS query. One-to-one matching, right? Ascendants for the state of city burning, right? One-to-one matching, very easy. All right, so that's the thing.
Ascendants gives everything from this level to everything, right? And to the topmost. Here we just want one. We can specify which level we want to go to in Ancestor.
Yeah, let's try it. Should be easy. All right, so it shows Hamburg. Is Hamburg a state? Okay, yeah, my geography is super bad, but yeah, so good. So this shows us that the ancestor behaves the same thing as I think descendants, right? So if you specify a level, it's just going to show the level on that hierarchy. It won't show everything above. It's just showing one thing that you specified. Okay, so it seems like we're almost running out of time. I'll just show you one final query, and then which is the subqueries. Very easy. So find sales amount for all years on product category closing. I think we have practiced it a few labs, like in our previous labs, correct? And what we did is select non-empty measure style sales amount on columns, non-empty order date, calendar year, members on rows from cells where product category closing. And how do we turn this into subquery? So instead of where product category clothing, I want it to actually I'll just show the answer here. I want it not to be a where. I want it to be inside of the from. So this is just showing you another way to slice your cube. All right. So something. That's basically the same thing on the first two lines, but for the second two lines, instead of slicing it where product category closing, I said from select the product category closing on columns from cells. So why I use the columns instead of rows? So that's because SQL Server won't allow you to put something on the rows before you have already put something on the columns. That's the only reason. Okay, so I think we're out of time. I'll just briefly show you the KPI. Those are all words. But to summarize it, you need two things to build the API. So first, you need a calculated member. So something like a goal for a specific time range. So that's the first thing. The second thing is how do you want the KPI browser to display those values. So the most important part is the first one, which is the goal. In here, as an example, I said I should have a calculated member as performance goal. If the sales amount is not empty, then set the goal for each month next year of 1.15 times the sales amount. If the sales amount is empty, then set it to the current value. So that's the most important part. And then the second part is just how you display the threshold. If the KPI is greater, the KPI value divided by KPI goal is greater than 0.95, we call it a success. Green light. If KPI is less than KPI divided by the goal is less than 0.85, then we call it failed. Otherwise, we should say it's normal, or it's you didn't get an increase, but it's fine. So I'm just going to show you the most important part, and then we call it today. So in here, I did a sales performance calculation. So for each of the sales performance, I want the current month to be 1.15 times the same month from last year. So in this query, I said, okay, first off, if last year is empty, then there's nothing to compare about. So this year's measure will be fine. So that's why I said if last year's month is empty, then the current sales performance goal is the current sales month. Otherwise, if we have a value from last year, then we times 1.15, and then we set the measure to be 1.15 times the measures from last year. And then after we have set the measure, we can select the sales amount comparing to the sales performance on the columns. And that finishes our KPI goal. So as long as you have this, you should be fine. And then for KPI display, just said if the value is greater than 0.95. Those are just translation of the words here. Yeah.
Can we go back to the query?
Yeah.
So what's calendar or current member? Which level is it?
So order.calendar.current member, it means
Like, is it a year, month? How do we specify?
it is a month. So the current member here, it's a month, right?
This is the first argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, this is the direct translation of that wording to a MDS query. And then we have our KPI display, which basically just shows you a green light and a red light. And all you have to do is put the case here as a calculated member when you design the cube, and put the KPI display under the KPI. then you should be good. Let's take a look. It's a, where is it? It's here. Okay. So in the calculations, I didn't put this thing here. I'll just give me a sec. Where is the new KPI? All right, let me see. This is the KPI browser. Let me reopen it. One sec. So again, this is not in Management Studio. This is in Data Tools when you're building it. That's why you're just staring at the thing here without doing it on your own. So in here, in the cube, you should see KPIs. All right, so if you go onto the cube, and then you should see cube structure, dimension usage, calculations, and KPIs. If you click on KPIs, then you can add a new KPI. Then you have the name. The name is sales performance. And then the value expression is just the sales amount, right? The goal expression is whatever I showed over here. The goal expression is this part. Okay? And the status expression is how we want to indicate our display to be. So in here you can choose, for example, traffic light, or gauge, or reversed gauge, or whatever. Because I've already created one, I'll just use this one to show you the example. So the value is the sales amount by itself. The goal expression is the same thing as I showed in the PowerPoint. Okay, so it's just 1.15 times the last year's sales amount. And then for the display or status, I said I want the traffic light to show the green light and red light. And then basically what I did was, if it's empty, then no. Otherwise, if KPI value divided by, if the measure divided by the goal is greater than 0.95, then green light. Less than 0.85 is red light. Otherwise, it's yellow light. That's as simple as that.
There's no trend, right?
No, I didn't put the trend here. Yeah. So if you go into the browser view, under the KPI, then you should be able to see the status as a display. I guess that's just for management team to understand what's going on with a vivid display or non-vivid. I don't know. Okay, so let's try some values. So first, I said we should try May 2013. So May 2013. Okay, I should actually do month. Sorry. Month, May 2013. All right, so it shows us a green light. Good. And now the second one we want to do May 2012, right? And it shows a red light. I guess it's just the display that makes it interesting. So I haven't used it at all, but I know for some companies it is important to have the KPIs measured from time to time. Anyways, this finishes our lab today. We have talked more on the navigation part. We have also talked just one example on the subquery. And then last we did a brief introduction to the KPI. So that's it. And hopefully I'll be posting a video by today on cube building. But if I don't, then I'll do it tomorrow. Sounds good? Okay. And then right now I'll post the video from last year on cube building first.
Okay, I have a simple question.
Yeah.
So I saw your tutorial on Canvas. It says I was supposed to build a cube from this Microsoft Visual.